Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for MattTaylorTV. 8 o'clock show. How the devil are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank Crunchy. It's Friday. Yes, indeed. Hope everyone's well. You can guarantee that I will be with you for a minimum of an hour. If we go over the hour, that's just a bonus. And of course, we all love a bonus in life, don't we? I'm not talking about boners. Boners are good, but a bonus is always better than a boner. But then again, I'd be lost without my boners, to be fair. Listen, everyone, it's adult chat. All I ask for is a bit of decorum, which, come on. That's just wishful thinking. Certain names cannot be mentioned, certain topics cannot be discussed, and we act with maturity and let's be friendly. We have someone already in the chat. Welcome, my old mate. It's only you two. Welcome, Matt. Bouncy Mouncy has been talking about you all day. I know. Hey, listen, I think it's only right and proper that YouTubers should be given that same level of accountability as a prime minister. It's the done thing to do. You really caught his attention, I know. Oh yeah, and so this is talking about, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the talking points tonight. Do fish feel pain? I asked my 15-year-old son whether fish feel pain, and guess what he said? No, they don't. And I thought to myself, how gullible am I? How gullible am I to believe my 15-year-old son? All I had to do was come home and Google it and find out that actually fish do feel pain. And now having Googled whether fish feel pain and finding out that they do feel pain, I feel absolutely mortified, to be fair. I feel horrified, mortified and shamed. And I don't know about you, but as a parent, having that difficult decision of comparing the happiness of one's child to the pain of one fish, I think the answer is just obvious, isn't it? No pain inflicted upon any fish is or justifies the satisfaction or enjoyment to your children. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I absolutely feel terrible. I feel terrible that I went fishing with my son today. Michael Fish felt pain. There we go, allegedly. But allegedly, these fish have this type of like nerve endings. They're not called nerve endings, but apparently they can feel pain. And how would you like it if you had a hook through your lip? There are some ways to negate the pain of what a fish feels when it's caught. One of them is to use special types of hooks. And to be fair, Lewis never used one of those special type of hooks. But another way you can ease the discomfort to a fish is to use a mat when you bring the fish out of the water. Fair dues, Lewis used that, and also Lewis wet his hands before handling the fish. And he ensured that the fish was out of the water only when it was necessary. All other times it was back in the net, in the water. And of course we brought the fish out of the water to photograph it. We brought the fish out of the water to take the hook out of it, and those were the only occasions that the fish was out of the water. But yeah, to be fair, catching a fish, it was the first time I ever caught a fish. Yeah, that was a big fish, to be fair. That was the first time I've ever caught a fish. And it wasn't even on my bucket list. You know, I don't know. But listen, I feel terrible. I feel absolutely terrible. Lewis wants to go fishing again on Sunday, but I know what the answer is going to be. It's a no. It's like, no, son. I'm not going to participate in wanton cruelty against a fish anymore. And I do have to stress that the fish wasn't killed. The fish was not killed. The fish was put back into the lake, and we watched it swim away. But yeah, I mean, I feel absolutely terrible. Would look great next to some chips, allegedly. That was the first time for me. I've never actually caught a fish before. Good evening, Matt. Nice common carp. What bait do you use, Matt? Well, we used Lewis is the expert, actually. Lewis is the expert. I don't know what bait. They were big round things. And he was putting them into bags of other smaller bait. But, you know, like I said, Lewis was the expert. And so, Sinbad, can you confirm whether you're the entity who also uses the name Danny West? Hello, Lenny. Lenny, when is the documentary coming out, Matt? Serial killer of fishers. Actually, I'm glad you're here, Lenny, because I've only got 2 show notes at the moment. And one of them is, do fish feel pain? And I think the general consensus is that yes, fish do feel pain. But another question, which I want to discuss with the audience, is about you yourself, Lenny. This Jeremy Bamber, innocent or guilty? I find, you know, you're the only one who's really bringing this up, putting this bit back out into the public attention. And I was wondering, you know, why do you think Jeremy Bamber is innocent? Or do you even think Jeremy Bamber is innocent? Because ultimately, jury found him guilty. Allegedly. Yes. Over to Sinbad. I mean, there's some speculation that Sinbad may be the same individual who has used the name Danny West in the past. We'd just like to give Sinbad the opportunity to either deny or confirm this speculation. Sinbad said, bait balls, yes, they are good, yes. And he puts them in this little bag that dissolves. But yeah, I mean, it was a lovely day. It was a lovely day, and I'm very happy to have spent the day with Lewis. But God, I wasn't expecting that backlash. But then again, I think YouTubers deserve to have backlash, because, you know, YouTubing comes with it great responsibility. Because as a YouTuber, you can influence, or you can have the potential to influence hundreds of millions of people across the world. So I do believe, I think it's only right and proper that YouTubers should be held to that same level of accountability as, for example, prime ministers should be held to. Sinbad says, Matt, don't listen to tall stories. I've never used the name Danny West. That is some fantasy of one of your strange friends. Oh, you mean Justin? Well, is Justin a strange friend? Maybe. Would you describe yourself as strange, Justin? Maybe not. But it's interesting. Well, I think that's a denial, isn't it? We can say that's a denial of some sort. So yeah, it's been a great day. Lewis had a day of school, so we went down to the lake and we caught. We didn't buy it. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. We didn't buy it. We caught it. Sinbad, why do you harass Kaylee so much? Asks Justin. There we go. So Justin very obviously considers Sinbad to be Danny West, who's also used the name Sammy West. Weird. Very weird, but it's strange. It's Dave. It's YouTube. It's what we've come to expect. You know what I mean? Sinbad, suspected to be Danny West, Sammy East. Was it Sammy East or Sammy West? Sammy West, Danny West. Let's go over to Sinbad. Well, if he goes around making silly accusations, what else can he be but strange? Very good point. Now, Lenny is very kindly addressing this Jeremy Bamber. Lenny says, it was Bamber's girlfriend whose testimony secured his conviction. He smugly said, it's up to you to prove it, as he thought he had carried out the perfect crime, setting up his mentally unwell sister. Very interesting. Thanks for sharing. Matt, who am I to question the integrity of Essex Old Bill's son? Well, you know, you've got every right to question anyone and everyone's integrity. And I think that's only right and proper. Sinbad says, I have not been on Kaylee for over a week. I have no interest in idiots. Ooh. Over to Pipfed. Hello, fellow YouTube addicts. Hello. Yes, indeed. I think, was it you, Pip, who asked me how much did the cart weigh? I've no idea. I've no idea how much it weighed, but it was I thought it was a very beautiful fish, very handsome fish, and it was an experience catching it. I really enjoyed being with Lewis. He's such a, in my opinion, he's a killer. Well, no, he doesn't kill. He doesn't kill fish. That's unfair. He's not a killer. But I think he's a very seasoned fisherman. And the way he reeled that carp in was very professional. And the way he instructed me, I used the net, by the way. I was his assistant. And I think the way he instructed me was very impressive. So, yeah, I very much enjoyed carp fishing with Lewis today. And but obviously, now realising that fish feel pain, I won't be doing that again anytime soon. He wants me to go fishing Sunday. But I'm going to just have to be honest with him and say, no, son, I cannot be involved in the wanton infliction of pain upon any living creature, including carp, quite frankly. So, you know, as an adult, we always want to appease our children. We always want to satisfy their needs, meet their demands, and give them those experiences in life that they'll remember for life. But in light of the backlash, I do feel as if I think it's important to say, no, Lewis, I won't be going carp fishing with you again. Justin says, that's good news, Danny. Hopefully you'll leave Kaylee alone from now on. So there we have. We've got Justin categorically believes Sinbad is Danny West. Good. Over to Sinbad. Get over your strange fantasy, you strange old dirty man. Oh gosh, that's not very friendly. Okay, Danny. They heal fast, don't they? Well, I don't know. Lewis describes carp as the cows of the lakes. They're like bottom feeders, and they go around just sucking up the debris on the bottom, spitting out what they don't want to digest, you know. I mean, what do I know? Lewis told me that they don't feel any pain, and I went along with it. I mean, it shows how bloody gullible I am, don't I? You know, I'm bloody gullible. My 15-year-old son goes, "No, it's all right, Dad. Carps don't feel any pain. It'll be fine." And there's me. Go, "Okay, son, I'll believe you." Over to Lenny. More about the Jeremy Bamber case. Lenny says, "The White House farm murders are a long time ago. Police cleaned up the crime scene as they believed Sheila Bamber had done a murder-suicide. It was a very calculated deed by Jeremy. I mean, ultimately, I saw something about this. I think it was called The White House, actually. I think it was on ITVX, and there was a dramatisation of the murders. Ultimately, technically, in the word of the law, Jeremy Bamber did it. That's it. I do find it interesting that Lenny is keeping it in the public domain. It's good. Matt, ignore the Muppet. He has weird thoughts. Hey, come on, Sinbad. I'm not going to ignore anyone. Okay, anyone and everyone's voice is just as warranted on Matt Taylor TV, and I do find it a bit nasty that you suggest that I should ignore what someone says. That's not nice. That's not nice. Come on. You know, above else, I want Matt Taylor TV to be a friendly space in which we can all contribute without fear of bully and ridicule. But of course, that's going to happen, isn't it? Because that's the world we live in, no doubt. I love to hear everyone's opinion, everyone's take, because it's important. It's important to hear what everyone has to say. You know, everyone needs, in my opinion, everyone deserves their 15 minutes in the limelight to give them the opportunity to tell everyone else what they're feeling about the world around us. Because only by listening to everyone's point of view do we get a picture of the overall situation. I know I'm drubbling on a bit, but yeah, and what does even drubbling? What does even drubbling mean? I don't even know what drubbling means. Maybe I was thinking the word dribbling. Could be. But either way, lovely day. Over to Sinbad, who says, "Take it from me, I have no idea who Danny West is. I have never seen him or heard him till your wonky friend accused me of being him." Oh. Really? Really? You think we're gullible? You think we're gullible? Over Lenny, yes, Matt. Freddie Fox played Bamber in it. He's a nephew of your mate Lawrence Fox. Oh, right, yeah. Who was married to Billy Piper, the new Doctor Who, I'm led to believe. Small world, son, isn't it? Isn't it? But I do think in the creative industries, a lot of the children follow their parents into the same type of work. Simba says, "Anyway, I'm not here for an argument, so he will be getting ignored from now on." Well, there you go. No one likes to be ignored. But hey, listen, if ever you want to have a discussion with someone, please consider Matt Taylor TV to be that platform to have that discussion, because I'm more than open to giving you the airtime to have a chat, really, because I think the more we chat, the more we understand each other. And sadly, there's so many situations on YouTube in which we come into difficulty because we don't understand where each other is coming from. Very gullible if you believe that, weirdo. I know, I am gullible. I'm very gullible. I mean, I've got a habit. I believe everything people say, and if it's proven to be a lie, then again, I don't believe anything they say. Matt, you keep saying I'm bringing up Jezza Amber. It was you who brought him up today, not me. Yeah, I'm just following on from yesterday. Lenny. I distinctly remember you bringing them up yesterday. And I just, it passed my mind. I've got to discuss something. And to be fair, in my defence, you do bring them up somewhat regularly. And I didn't know whether you had maybe a personal connection. I was wanting to ask, whether you may be related. It was very interesting, but we can move on. There was one subject from yesterday we didn't discuss, and that was how everyone felt about paying more in defence than we do in welfare. And that's something I'd like to expand on, actually. So Sinbad said, that is good to know you don't believe your friend. Hey, listen, I'm open to everything. Whatever anyone has to say, I will consider it. If someone comes down and says to me that they're an alien, I'll take them for their word. Until that time, it's proved that they're talking rubbish and they're lying to me. Then, of course, I'd act accordingly. Well, on that subject about, we're getting to that situation now in which countries are paying more on defence than they are on the welfare of their people. And that's something very alarming to me, because it reminds me of that time where Ian Duncan Smith, the Conservative, I think Ian Duncan Smith was actually the Conservative leader at some point. But I think it was the David Cameron's government in which he was the welfare secretary, and there was a time when they were pushing through welfare reforms, and they done a vote on cutting welfare, and you could see Ian Duncan Smith pumping both his fists in the air, like jubilant that the country's welfare costs were being slashed. And I found that really quite offensive, because I'm in the belief that the welfare cost of the country has to be paid at all costs, because the welfare of the country's citizen is the priority. So far from trying to slash the welfare cost, far from criticising the cost of the welfare of one's country, our politicians should be finding ways to meet that cost rather than trying to cut it. I mean, what's more important than the welfare of one's country's citizens? And the fact that we're going into a mindset now that it's acceptable to spend more on weapons, more on war, more on defence than welfare is quite alarming. But then again, I can also see the argument in which it says, well, spending money on the country's defence secures the welfare of its citizens, which I can see the argument there, but I think people who use that argument are pulling a fast one. But anyway, over to Lenny, who says, but Matt, you keep saying I'm bringing up Amber. Oh yeah, we've already done that, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so no new messages, which is cool. As I always like to urge my listeners, and thank you ever so much for listening, don't be shy. Jump on in and say hi. Be brave and take the plunge onto MattTaylorTV. At the moment, we've got Lenny, we've got Sinbad, and we've got Justin in the chat. Over to Lenny. Matt. Brian Hurl calling in from the Priory sounds dubious. Also, it was a little insulting platforming a geezer who calls A1000 a loony, who's been sectioned admittedly 4 times. Stones in glass houses, son. Yes, I agree. I mean, I didn't like Brian calling A1000 a loony. I think the word used was nutcase, wasn't it? And I did pick him up on that. But then again, saying that, I know that Katie is fully capable of defending herself, and she doesn't need me to defend her. But yeah, I'm with you on that, Lenny. You know, part of the conditions is to be friendly, and I don't think that was particularly friendly of Brian to say that to Katie. We have a new contributor in the chat, Gollywog. Hello, Gollywog. Fancy posting fake police reports in my fucking anyway. You couldn't even get the log number right, John Smith. Right. Oh, right. I think I know what you're on about. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're going to play a trick on me, I usually play the same trick on you. Lenny says, I mean, and funny enough, I think if anyone is Mr. West, it may well be Gollywog. Just saying. Or John Smith. Either way, it's a bit confusing. Brian Hurl in the same medical facility that allowed Shazza girl to drink and smoke. Really? Oh, Lenny, you're a bit of an expert, actually. Before we come back to that, Lenny, a big shout out to Third Eye Zone. Hi all. I don't think there was a live tonight. Yeah, I didn't actually put up. I have got sunstroke. Yeah, so good, because you are a bit of an expert on Shazza girl, I must admit, Lenny. So, are you referring to that time in which Sharon Gell alluded to being in hospital? And she was still drinking and smoking. So, right, so it wasn't an NHS hospital, it was a priory clinic. Interesting. Over to Sinbad, who mentions, Labour has always been for the people, but now they seem to be more communist than anything else. More communist? I'd have actually described them completely opposite to communism. I mean, ultimately, you know me, I believe we live in a monarchy rather than democracy. They're all in one room. They're just in different sides of it, aren't they? For me, money rules supreme in that House of Commons, okay? And in my opinion, all MPs, all members of Parliament have only really got one thing in mind, and that's the betterment of themselves. And they use the age-old excuse of doing it for the public as an excuse to line their own pockets. Third Eye Zone, where's Mugger tonight? Yes. Over to Gollywog. So you've just admitted you posted a fake police report, you imbecile. Did I? Was it a fake police report though? Was it? Don't tell Danny West. I think Emily has taken Darren back to his parents after last night's meltdown. That was a crazy night last night. Laughing my fucking arse off. Everyone is Danny West. But I'm not, to be fair. Simba says, Matt, to be honest, you all seem to be obsessed with this Danny. You and your friend accuse everyone of being him. Well, yeah, okay. Okay. Thanks for that comment. Don't tell Sinbad, laugh out loud. I mean, the only people I'm obsessed about is, who am I obsessed with? Who am I obsessed with? Eric Clapton. Obsessed with him. Pretty obsessed with Eric Clapton, must admit. Who else? don't tell my girlfriend, but I'm a bit obsessed with my girlfriend. You know, I can't leave her alone, to be fair. And that's a bit worrying, actually. Like, every opportunity I've got to be with my girlfriend, I'm with my girlfriend, which is a bit creepy. You know, I find I've got goosebumps because, you know, just thinking about her brings out a physical reaction. Oh my God, I've got goosebumps all over me. Well, I'm usually up at my girlfriend's at the moment, but I'm here talking to you. And I just realised how obsessed I am with her. I think she's an amazing woman. You know, oh God, sometimes, don't tell her, sometimes I wake up before her, right, and I just look at her in bed. I mean, I catch myself and I think, you creep, what are you doing? Stop looking at her. But she's such a beautiful woman, and when she's sleeping, I just like look at her and I go, wow, I'm just so obsessed with you. And I love you. And I think maybe not in the same sense, but I'm obsessed with my family as well. Oh, recently, a cousin of mine got in contact. She sent me a Facebook request, and guess what? I'd forgotten all about her. And I'm well embarrassed. I've forgotten all about her. And then she sent me a Facebook, and I was like, oh my! And I won't tell. I'll tell her. You know. Tina, my cousin Tina, was like, oh Tina, bloody hell, blah 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 blah. Oh, we had a right time. And then of course Tina reminded me. She goes, I'm not really talking to much. I only talk to Angie and Lizzie. And I thought, fucking hell, Lizzie! I've totally forgotten about Lizzie. But yeah, I am obsessed about certain people. So, where are we? Where are we? I am obsessed. Right, over to Lenny, who says, Matt, what about Jill Dando? Barry George didn't do it, went for jail for years, but received no combo. Why? I know. Were they implying that? I mean, why was that? Is it because Barry was a bit mentally impaired, that he couldn't defend himself? But yeah, that's a terrible thing, isn't it? I mean, of course, the general consensus, well, rather the conspiracy theory, was that Jill Dando was about to expose a paedophile ring operating in the highest levels of British society. And it was a hitman that killed her on her doorstep. And of course, Barry George was the convenient scapegoat. But yeah, Lenny, what I like about your questions is that I can see a pattern. And it's something I'm interested in as well. It's that true crime. It's that true events that just continue to leave the public scratching their heads. And I think the Jill Dando assassination, because how else would you call it, is a very interesting subject to get one's teeth into. So, you know, appreciate you bringing Jill Dando into the conversation. Sinbad said, hang on, it's only YouTube. Did Matt just say two other people make your mind up? Hang on. Hang on, Justin. Did Matt just say two other people make your mind up? I don't really know what you're saying, mate. Would you like some jam? Says Gollywog. Apparently, raspberries are very popular at the moment. We've had a bumper year for raspberries and strawberries. Go get them. Barry George claimed to be Freddie Mercury's brother. Really? Well, it just goes to show he was a bit mentally impaired, wasn't he? Barry George was definitely a fantasist. And maybe, I'm only just guessing here, at any point, did Barry George admit to killing Jill Dando? I don't know. I think it's a case worth investigating more. You know what I mean? Yes. Third Eye Zone. Was it you, Third Eye Zone, who asked how much the carp weighed? I don't know. But I'm looking at two pictures on my wall at the moment. A smaller carp which was one of the first fish carps Lewis caught, and I've got a bigger carp, which is quite massive actually. And so today's carp was in between. I think we called today's carp was a medium carp. Anyway, Third Eye Zone, I noticed Mouse kept posting videos today. So much for the holiday. Well, apparently he's back from holiday. And it wasn't Lanzarote. I mean, I only go by what people say in the chat. But talking about obsession, I think Mouse has got a serious obsession with me, quite frankly. I mean, because I don't really know any other YouTuber who pays as much attention as Mouse pays on me. And very strange. Very Dave, as we say in this field, in this side of YouTube. Sinbad said, it's okay, Justin, aka Fred West. Oh, I've got a story about Fred West. My nickname was Fred West. Don't tell me why, you know. And I was out in Hong Kong, and people used to rib me, call me Fred West. But anyway, I was okay about it, you know. Yeah, call me Fred West. Fucking hell, you think? Yeah, it doesn't matter. But then I was going out with this particularly attractive young lady. I've forgotten her name. Gorgeous woman she was. In fact, funny enough, I was the other man. We were having a secret affair. Her boyfriend didn't live in Hong Kong, but she had a. Anyway, I was the secret man, and it all came to a head on the rota, on the staff rota, when they rubbed her name out and put Rose West, and that's when I had the body drop. I had a fucking right body drop. I was like, mate, it's okay calling me Fred West. I can take that. But don't start calling... I think her name was Hayley. I was like, don't fucking call Hayley Rose West, you cats. I had a right body drop. Yeah, we're all Fred West, mate. Well, no. Sorry. We're all Danny West. No, I'll get it right first. Oh, we're all Spartacus. Yes. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? It's Friday. What are your plans? I wouldn't mind doing a show from Brighton Beach, maybe Monday. It's a lovely place down there. Justin, you're paranoid. Oh, look, I'm getting behind the chat here. Let's zoom through the chat. Third Eye Zone, you can actually see your magical imaginary girlfriend. It's crazy. It's crazy. I tell you, talking about gullible, right? Some people actually think my magical imaginary girlfriend is real. I mean, how gullible is that? Weird. Sinbad said it's well, you know, Justin convicted for stealing from old people. Oh right, yeah. You know, we've all done bad things in life, haven't we? I'm sure you have. I have. Matt's girlfriend is gorgeous. Yeah, she is. I think Justin was hallucinating at that time. No, I'll be honest with you, right? I only say it as a joke. But my girlfriend, I'm totally obsessed with her. And it's unhealthy. I don't know how she puts up with it. She's put up with it the last 9 years, and I don't know. But I'm totally in love with my girlfriend. I think she's beautiful. I think she's funny. I think she's interesting. She's great company. She's just a great friend. But funny enough, I also feel that about towards my children as well. I think they're lovely people. I think they're great company. Obsession is a part of life. Okay, Gollywog says, bye. I'm off to listen to paint dry. It's more interesting. Thanks for popping in, Gollywog. I appreciate it. Sinbad, you said you were going to ignore me, didn't you? Just saying. Yeah. Dirty crime for dirty old men. Well, you know. I hope Jill Dando wasn't killed over someone seeing a knee in a certain red room behind a certain secret door in a certain nightclub in 1994. Well, crikey. Sent strenuous links. tenuous, that's the word, tenuous links being made between the Red Rooms as purported by Brian Harvey to Jill Dando. You never know. I mean, someone's already mentioned that it's a small world. Wasn't it you, Lenny, mentioning that Jeremy Bamber, the guy who played Jeremy Bamber in the White House drama, the actor who played Jeremy Bamber was the, did you say nephew of Lawrence Fox? Like you said, it's a small world. Never do know. Never know. Never know. So really, Darren last night was asking if I liked Emily. I think he's had enough of her and wants to offload now. It was all a bit strange yesterday, wasn't I? They are watching, so they might clear that up for you. Oh, Sinbad says Jill Dando was killed off 100%. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, that bullet in the head proved that, didn't it, eh? Thankfully, Freddie Mercury wasn't alive to see his brother treated so abysmally by Scotland Yard. Oh, right. This is a little gag by Lenny, because Barry George claimed to be Freddie Mercury's brother. But on the subject of Freddie Mercury, what's happened about his daughter? We haven't heard anything about that, have we? I mean, I'd love to see what she looks like. I want to see whether she's got the Freddie Mercury teeth. Yes, it was, Matt. It looked a big fish, mate. It was really good because I predicted it. I think we got down there for 9:30. Okay, we got down there for 9:30, and we've done about 2 hours. I think 2 hours. I don't know why I bring dogs into it, but we had a few 2 hours down there, and then about coming up to lunchtime, Lewis got hungry. He hadn't eaten, so we nipped to the local Kentucky Fried Chicken, and we had a Kentucky Fried Chicken lunch, and then we got back to the lake by 1 o'clock, and still no catch. But I said to Lewis it was about 1:15. I said, you know, Lewis, I feel as if we're going to catch a fish. I said, I've got a feeling. And he goes, well, let's do a bet. You know, let's do a bet by what time we'll catch a fish. And I said, well, listen, I reckon we're going to catch a fish by 1:30. And guess what happened? We only went and caught a fish at 1:30. Fucking spooky it was. Fucking spooky. But I won the bet. Sinbad said, very dirty to steal from old, vulnerable people. I think it's very bad to steal from anyone myself. You know? I think it's very bad to steal from anyone, young or old, quite frankly. Danny, are you obsessed with me? You know, let's just leave whatever people have done. And, you know, Justin's paid the price for that, you know. Really, Danny, it's not around, and you just accuse everyone of, right. Really, Danny, really. Danny is not around, so it's... and you accuse everyone of being him. Well, you know, it is the nature of YouTube that people use sock puppet accounts. And so I think it's fair. Well, you know, hey, you know, Justin thinks you're Danny, and you think he's Fred. It's all a bit of banter. And yes, Matt, your mate Loza Fox, big MAGA and Brexit geezer. Yeah. I mean, I just want to put it out there. I didn't actually vote in the Brexit referendum, but if I did, it would have been for Brexit. Third Eye, did they ever catch Jill Dando killer? Well, as Lenny's already, you know, pointed out, Barry George was arrested and convicted for the murder of Jill Dando. But after that, no. So, quite conclusively, Jill Dando's killer is still on the loose. Yes. No, Third Eye, it's a cold case. There you go. Shame, she was nice. She was a lovely woman, wasn't she? I think her husband was a paediatrician. Is that right? Maybe not. Her husband was a paediatrician to the rules. Yes, I think so. Or a gynecologist. Was the husband a gynecologist to the rules? I may not be right there. Over to Sinbad. I say that cart was about 10 to 15 pound mark. I had one out. It was just over 34 pound, big as I ever caught. Now I do a lot of beach fishing. Hey, listen, you do know that fish feel pain. Just saying. So what kind of fish would you catch beach fishing? I imagine trout, would it? Trout. I don't know, what else? Like I said, Lewis is the expert. I've never fished. Today was the first time I caught a fish and I was so happy. I thought it was brilliant, it was. It was absolutely a wonderful experience. And I was well chuffed with it. I was well chuffed. And, you know, as soon as it happened, within 15 minutes, I posted the pictures. And I wish I hadn't now, actually. I wish I kept it to myself. Because the backlash is pretty severe. But I think it's only right and proper that YouTubers like myself should be held up to that same level of accountability that, for example, prime ministers are held to. You know, because being a YouTuber, we have the potential to influence thousands, if not millions of people around the world. And so, yeah, I mean, it's the done thing to do, isn't it? Yeah. But I feel horrified. I'm so gullible. Lewis said to me that, no, the heart won't feel a thing. The heart will be fine. You know, like be a little tickle to him. And I just like, excuse the pun, but I fell for that hook, line and sinker. I mean, really, I should have known. What does a 15-year-old know about it, eh? What does a 15-year-old? Anyway, why was Brian last night aggressive towards Katie? What did he want to say to her? Yeah, you know, and I think also Brian Hurl tried to get onto Kaylee's lives, but Kaylee weren't having it. But yeah, I wasn't particularly impressed with Brian Hurl. But I listened to that clip of Brian Hurl talking to Jupiter. And in fact, I was listening to a bit of Den Tarragon talking to Jupiter before I came live, actually. But I was listening to Brian Hurl talking to Jupiter, and they mentioned that Esau and Bleeding Heart have fallen out. I'd like to know more about that, actually. You know, what was behind that. Sinbad says, well, I think he is an idiot, Matt. Well, everyone's got a right to think whoever is an idiot. With a stalking obsessive nature, like I said, very strange. It is very strange, isn't it? It is very strange. I don't particularly think Justin is a stalker or a obsessive. He just likes YouTube, you know. He just loves the banter. I mean, I've met Justin, and I find him a very nice bloke. Third Eye Zone says, I must have missed National Treasure Lenny's previous comment. We're very lucky to have Lenny in the house, and thanks ever so much, Lenny, for sticking with MattTaylorTV. I know I'll give you a hard time, but you know, I think, and it's bang out of order. I'm just only human, you know. But anyway, no, there's no excuse, Lenny. You're a great contributor to the chat, and I think the show would be a less of a show if we didn't have your contributions. Over to Lenny, who says, Matt, would you have voted for Loza Fox? Not for his right-wing politics, but you're simply a big fan of his uncle Edward's performance in The Day of the Jackal and the Wild Geese too. They were good, aren't they? And of course, sadly, Frederick Forsyth died a few weeks ago. So rest in peace, Frederick Forsyth. I was a big fan of his books, and yeah, very sad to see him move on to the next stage of his spiritual journey, so to say. No, but I'm not. I do think I'm right. I'm a conservative, but I like to think I'm right-wing conservative, not extreme right-wing. And, you know, so no, I don't really feel comfortable with the politics of Lawrence Fox. But mind you, he wants to get in politics himself, doesn't he? Trout, a river fish, thank you. And it depends on where you fish, Matt. South Coast is good for sea bass. Yummy, yummy. In my tummy. I wouldn't mind a bit of sea bass. I do like that. Dover sole, cod, codlin, whitling are good fish. Are good catch sea fishing. Mackerel too. Love it. Lewis and I, Lewis makes a great seafood boil. And we've had it a few times. We had it for his birthday, and we're going to have it for my birthday coming up in July. Oh man, the ingredients are just top notch. And it costs a small fortune, to be fair. Lobster, crab meat, prawns, mussels, sweet corn potato, sausage. Man, and we did a bit of beer in with the butter, seasoning, served with French bread. Man, I love it. Me and Lewis, we've got it down to a right T now. We've cooked it a few times. I can see in the chat, Emily in the house. Hello, Emily. We'll get to you in a moment, my dear. Mackerel are the easiest fish to catch. Right, okay. But remember, fish feel pain. Well, he's talking obsessing over a certain person, and it's not normal. Well, you know, I disagree with that. Emily V, it's a private joke between me and me. You'd find it funny if you knew what I was talking about. So Emily in the house. Hi, just popping in quickly. How's everyone? We're all fine. Thank you, Emily. I hope you're fine too. Third Eye Zone says, doesn't sound true for Esau and bleeding to fall out. You usually can't separate them. I know. Perhaps I'm just being naive, but I was wondering anyone could elaborate on that, because I thought they were thick as thieves, and I didn't think they'd ever fall out. But if anyone knows the story behind it, I'm all ears. I'd love to know what went down. You know, like I'm with Third Eye Zone. I didn't think you could ever separate them two. I thought they were best of buddies. Hi, Emily. Where's Darren? Yeah. Lenny says, weren't impressed with Brian Hell, but he practically owned half your show, Matt. If it weren't for my questions, Matt, I think Hell had you on points in that verbal sparring match. Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there, Lenny. I'd have to agree with you there. I am a bit scared of Brian Hell, because if I say the wrong thing, Brian Hell will just lose it. And it's happened before. And you know, because he's told you how many channels he's take down. And I'm very conscious of getting on the wrong side of people. Because if I get on the wrong side of the wrong person, my channel's gone, mate. It's gone. You know what I mean? And I ain't getting it back till a few years later. It's funny, the channels I've got back a few years later, I've got about 4 back in the last year that had been lost years ago. Darren was trying to palm you off on us last night by the sounds. No, says Emily. Did Fox run for London? I think he did. Running behind. Emily, hey hun, just going over various issues like White House Farm and Jill Dando. Yes, and, you know, Oliver Fox. Not Oliver, Lawrence. Did he run for London Mayor? I think he may have done. Fine, Lenny. Good. Good to have a nice, healthy... I'm laughing because I've seen the next comment after this. He did, Emily. I read it back. Yeah, we all love Sam Fox, don't we? Woo-wee. Woo. Great boobs. Matt, Davina McCall won't be happy with your sausages and beer diet. I know, but honestly, the seafood boil, absolutely delicious. In fact, I think I posted a picture of it once on my community page. Love it. If you want a good brawl, go to Louisiana, best in the world. Thanks for the recommendation, Sinbad. Emily isn't impressed. Matt, gave you gone on the Pie and Mash YouTube posts. Bill Maloney has Alzheimer's, apparently. Oh, poor guy. But I tell you who still bigs up Bill Maloney, and that's John Wedger. I think Brian Harvey has done a sterling job in discrediting Bill Maloney. So I'm in the Brian Harvey camp when it comes to Bill Maloney. And I don't think Bill Maloney has adequately addressed the accusations and allegations made against him by Brian Harvey. And in fact, I don't think I've personally heard Bill Maloney ever address them. That's a strange one, isn't it, Lenny? Says Emily. Yes, convert. Sam Fox is a fox too. Lesbian, apparently, but you know, it's good. I watched the Crime Watch and it was very strange, but maybe true, yes. Poor Jill Dando. She's also lesbian now, son. Yeah. Men, mate, I'd definitely be a lesbian if I was a woman. That's for sure. You can keep that sausage away from me. That's what I'd say. Fucking hell, keep that sausage away from me. Third Eye Zone. Yep, Brian's got a scary rep. Damn right it is, yeah. And, you know, I have to tread carefully. And when I invite people on, the last thing I want to do is tell them to fuck off. Not that I'd ever ask Brian to fuck off. I think it's important to challenge people. Matt, Brian Hell doesn't know your firm down in Brighton. No, one phone call and it'll be bungled off to Broadmoor. Definitely. I know, mate. And there's some tough men down Brighton. You do know Brighton is the city of choice for crime lords. Don't tell anybody else this, right? But I've heard this from good authority. On last count, there are about 13 crime families, crime lords in Brighton that are untouchable. Now, you didn't hear that from me, and I didn't actually say anything about that, so I don't know what you're on about. And then he says, definition, the Jill Dando murder is weird and creepy. A daylight murder, and the police arrest the town nutter who claims to be Freddie Mercury's brother. I know, it's all too easy, wasn't it? All too easy. And on her doorstep as well. I mean, talk about fucking gangland assassination. I reckon Brian Hill's farts would be dangerous. Remember, there's quite a few strange people out there, yes. People are strange. Stranger. I don't know the word, actually. Let's have a look at the lyrics. Strange things, no. Strange by the doors. Lyrics. People are strange. When you're a stranger, faces look ugly. When you're alone, women seem wicked. When you're unwanted, streets are uneven. When you're down, when you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange. I'm getting quite excited. When you're strange. I've got to stop before I have an orgasm. You know, it happens. So, where are we there? Glasgow is full of gangsters. There you go. Yeah. I know, Lenny. How mental. Lenny, you wouldn't step to Hurl's Bart. Step 2. Have we got a new name? Royal Britannia. Hi, Matt. I heard Brian talking about your channel, so found your channel. Thank you ever so much, Rule Britannia, for coming. Pleasure having you. I do hope you've liked and subscribed. There's nothing I love more than a new subscriber, and I cannot thank you enough for subscribing. Hey, listen, it's easy to unsubscribe. That's all I want to say. So while I do ask you to like and subscribe, it's easy to unsubscribe. It's not for the faint-hearted, put it like that. But what I did enjoy about Brian Hurl's chat last night was what he had to say about Ian Puddett, and I thought it was worth it to listen. Really, Ian Puddett warned us about the City of London Police. Matt, that's a lovely song about Dave. Yeah, I felt, as I was singing it, I felt like changing the words strange to Dave. Oh, Rule Britannia, you are too kind. Thank you ever so much for liking and subbing. Fingers crossed you won't regret it. But like I said, you can always unsubscribe. I mean, at this moment in time, I'd just like to put a little disclaimer out, Rule Britannia. If you are easily offended, do not watch Matt Taylor TV, because in all probability you will be offended. Why? Because there's nothing else I love better than to push boundaries. It challenges you to think about things you might otherwise avoid. And Matt Taylor TV is all about pushing the boundaries and changing minds. And so if you do find yourself offended, remember you were warned. But hopefully it won't come to that. I just want to say thank you ever so much for coming in. Let's hope you don't regret it. Yes, indeed. So, we're a close-knit family here. We get on well, and it's all about having a good laugh, having a bit of banter, if you know what I mean. It's only YouTube, a new Danny for you to obsess over. Oh, there we go. Okay, Danny, yes. Let's get to Rule Britannia. Only simps get offended. Oh, I tell you, mate. There's a lot of simps around here. There's a lot of simps around here, that's for sure. I can't say too much because you know what the simps are like. They'll be on Sussex Police saying that he's taking a piss out of us. Oh, man, honestly, it's a tough one. So if you mind me asking, Rule Britannia, what other channels are you subscribed to? Are you, for example, subscribed to Jupiter's, to Luke's? I don't know whether I'm saying names that you even know, really. But anyway, over to Lenny. Matt, ever met Dave Courtney? He once had a straightener with Lenny McLean, the doorman and unlicensed fighter. Don't tell me you haven't heard of them. Well, straight off, I've never heard of them. Look, I don't move in the gangster circle, I don't move in the gangster circle. But, and now this is another thing I don't want you telling anyone else, right? I've heard from a source twice removed, so to say, that there's been 3 hits put out on me. 3 hits have been put out on me. And they all got cancelled at the 11th hour. Strange one. So, yeah, no, I've never met Dave Courtney, rest his soul. But I've also never heard of Lenny McLean I've never heard of Lenny McLean. Over to Rule Britannia. Jupiter, I'm sub to. Yes, thank you ever so much. Good. Let's go over to Lenny, because Lenny always has some good things to say. Matt, what band from the 80s would you have loved to have gone on tour with? Adam and the Ants, the Human League, or Bananarama? It's got to be Bananarama, hasn't it? It's got to be Bananarama. What a bunch of lovely ladies. I mean, Adam and the Ants, apparently, I'd imagine he may have been hard work, because he ended up having a bit of a mental breakdown, didn't he? But what some great songs, Adam and Ant. Oh, stand and deliver, yeah, your money or your life. And then of course he humanly, I was working in a cocktail. I was working as a waitress in a cocktail bar when I met you. Great song, love it. But yeah, I mean, what is yours, Lenny? But I'd much rather have gone over with Banana Armour. You know, I may have slept with one of them. You never know. I may have slept with one of the Banana Armour girls. I may even end up marrying them because I don't believe in one night stands. You understand that? I'm not into that, Lenny. You know, but I believe in kind of, you know, meaningful, long-lasting relationships. And I like to think if I did go on tour with one of the Banana Armour ladies, I would have married one. I'm sub to G Block Taffy also. Brilliant. Thanks ever so much. Royal Britannia. I'm only kidding, okay, Royal Britannia, but it's about time. It's about time we get some people over from Jupiter's, from G Block and Taffy coming over. You're one of the first. And I hope you're not going to be the last. If you want to call me by name, try Colin. Thank you, Sinbad. Or should I say Colin? Good. Colin, I think you should be saying. You can always just ignore me, like you said you were going to an hour ago. Yes. So, Royal Britannia, a lot of people like to have a to and fro in the chat, but they never come on. They never come on and discuss it. And that's what I'm always waiting for. I'm always waiting for people to come on. But the thing is, now that I've gone 10 minutes over the hour, guess what? Fucking hell. I've got another 50 minutes to go. And to be fair, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to fill the time up with. So, I may have to play a promotional video while I go and pour myself another glass of rosé. So I've got a promotional video coming up. Yes, good. Adam and the Ant and Jam were both massive around in 1981. I heard that Paul Weller was out on a protest the other day. Don't ask me what protest, but I think Paul Weller was out on a protest march. Danny, your fantasy man, is not here. I don't know what's going on between Sinbad and Justin. And for the benefit of Royal Britannia, when I mention Justin, I'm talking about it's only YouTube. You may see in the chat it's only YouTube. I've met only YouTube. He's a lovely bloke called Justin. Other name he uses is Convid. Adam and the Ants are touring again. Wow, that's been brilliant. How cool would that be? Banana Armour dating Matt Taylor. They would have split up, so good thing they didn't. And I think they were older than me, weren't they? But then again, right, I've always had a thing for an older woman. Always. I mean, my magical imaginary girlfriend at the moment is a year older, and it just ticks the box. I couldn't imagine going out with a woman younger than me. You know what I mean? No thanks. Karina, the mother of my children, she was a year younger than me, and look what happened there. Ended up 10 years and 2 children. More like 15, actually. Adam is broke from the mascara and pirate outfits. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm going to play a promotional video. Mugger bottled it last night when Hurl called him out to come on Matt's panel. I know. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed with Munker last night. Mugger, you know what I mean? He went mad, Lenny. Ended up in the Rocker House. We're talking about Adam and the Ant. I don't know what his real name is, actually. Paul Weller has aged like milk from cigarettes and moaning. Quite right. Hey, listen, everyone. We're going to play a promotional video, and I will be back momentarily. Don't go anywhere. Well, you can. You know, it's up to you. No one's forcing you. And remember, if it does get a bit too much, just switch off, okay? Just switch off. It's important to switch off because the last thing we want you to do is to what's the word? Yeah, we don't want you getting upset. Okay, we don't want you getting upset. We want you happy. We want you smiling, and we want you to be the best you can be. And so I'm just looking for an appropriate video. Here's something that may be appropriate, or maybe not. Maybe. Oh, here, go on then. I'll be back in a mojo.
You have no idea how strong I really am. My strength isn't just in my mind, my body, or my past. It's in my spirit, and that spirit, it's rock solid. It's been tested, bruised, and battered, but it's never broken, never will be. I am stronger than you could ever imagine. I've walked through fire, I've stared down darkness, and I've come out the other side brighter, louder, more alive than ever. Why? Because I have truth on my side, and truth makes a man unstoppable. People underestimate me, they mock, they lie, they scheme, I see it all. And I pity anyone who thinks they can fight me and win, because I don't quit, I don't bend. And when I'm backed into a corner, I rise. You sway what I say, but you will never sway who I am. I am Matt Taylor, and I am undefeatable. You have no idea how strong I really am. My strength isn't just in my mind, my body, or my past. It's in my spirit, and that spirit, it's rock solid. It's been tested, bruised, and battered, but it's never broken, never will be. I am stronger than you could ever imagine. I've walked through fire, I've stared down darkness, and I've come out the other side brighter, louder, louder, more and more alive than ever. Why? Because I have truth on my side, and truth makes a man unstoppable. People underestimate me, they mock, they lie, they scheme, I see it all. And I pity anyone who thinks they can fight me and win, because I don't quit, I don't bend. And when I'm backed into a corner, I rise. You sway what I say, but you will never sway who I am. I am Matt Taylor, and I am undefeatable. You have no idea how strong I really am. I sway what I say, but you will never sway who I am. I am Matt Taylor, and I am undefeatable.
Bit much, I have to say, but you know, what can you do? It's only YouTube. It's only YouTube, mate. Where was I? I've seen the Rolling Stones. Saw the Rolling Stones at Wembley Stadium. I've also seen Bruce Springsteen at Wembley Stadium. I've also seen U2 at Wembley Stadium. So I've seen Bruce Springsteen, U2, and Rolling Stones. The one thing I'd love to have seen at Wembley Stadium, which I didn't, was of course Live Aid. I would give anything to have seen Live Aid. Rolling Stones had the special supporting them a few years ago, Ghost Town, nice. And of course Glastonbury's on, isn't it? Glastonbury's on. So I'm looking forward to catching a few Glastonbury sets. I'm sure I can catch all that kind of stuff on YouTube. Surely. Adamant's record sales went down after Live Aid. Oh, did he? He sang Viva Le Rock. He should have sang one of his big hits. Yeah, all right. What year did I see U2? Oh, God. Pass, Lenny. Pass. I bet it was the Joshua Tree. Was it the Joshua Tree? It was... I reckon it would have been 1993, 94. 90, in the 90s. It was just before I went to Hong Kong, and I think I went to Hong Kong 94. So it would have been 92, 93 or 94. It may not have been the Joshua Tree. But they were giving out free tickets for UB40 holders. And that's how I got a ticket. Because me and my mates, we went up to London and we got the tickets. And talking about gigs, it definitely wasn't a Zeropa. It wasn't the Zeropa one, no. Talking about gigs, I can't wait to see Ali Sherlock in Brighton. Great boobs. And I do love great boobs. You know, why not? Yeah, the flying acting baby era. Right. Actung, yes. The Actung. Actung baby period. Zoo TV tour. I don't think it was 87. That would have been too early. Definitely not 87. Let's look. When did U2 play Wembley Stadium? When did U2 play Wembley Stadium? 1993. It would have been 1993 then, yeah. It would have been 1993. And the 93 was the Zoo TV tour. Okay, fair enough. Yep, so the Joshua was 1987. The Zoo TV was 1993. August 1993. U2 toured a lot then. Yeah, bloody brilliant. It was a great. I mean, you know, in fact, I don't listen to U2 as much as I should do, actually. It's reminded me, I'll definitely ask Alexa to play U2 a lot from now on. I love a bit of U2. Love a bit of U2, mate. I was at the 93 one. Nice one, Conan Sinbad. Like it. Oh, you're using that face of someone. You're using somebody else's face, aren't you? I recognise that face. That Conan Sinbad is not me, Matt. Okay. Oh, this is where it all gets a bit confusing, doesn't it? You know, the vermin come in, so to say. The vermin come in. Was Bono dressed up as a devil and called himself Mr. Fisco? I don't know. Fistu. I don't know. Yeah, it's only YouTube being a silly boy again. Hey, listen, we all like a bit of banter. You know, don't you know? Yeah, Zoo TV. Why didn't I remember that? Why didn't you mentioned it and I just kind of like totally blanked you? Why didn't I remember that? Mind you, we are going back a long time, over 20 years. Good gig indeed. So it was Bruce Springsteen. That was about 1985. Rolling Stones pass, I can't remember. Rolling Stones would have been after 93. Sure. U2 are good, but a big IRA supporters. Man, but what's the harm in supporting the IRA? Well, a lot actually. IRA did kill a lot of British soldiers and British citizens. So it's not really cool being an IRA supporter, is it? It's not a done thing to do when you're a British man. U2 definitely declined past Zeropa. Pop was okay, I suppose. I tell you, they're more than capable of doing a good comeback, U2. More than capable. I still think they got some great music in them. I mean, if you can do the music then, you can do the music now. And in fact, it may be a different genre of music, but it will still be U2's music. And of course, they've got the fan base. So whatever they churn out, it'll be well received. Sinbad, yes, is very infantile for a dirty old man. He should grow up. Well, shouldn't we all? Shouldn't we all grow up? The mid-90s was Matt's lady body era. Oh, look who we have in the house. We've got Oaks Police. Taylor. I'm here, you getting a right ribbon out over on Jupiter's with Den Tarragon ripping you to pieces. It does make me laugh. Sinbad, Bono was certainly not a supporter. Well, there we go. Lenny's setting Sinbad straight. Bono is certainly not a supporter of the Pyra. His old man was Protestant. U2 definitely did not support them. Oh, thanks for putting us straight there, Lenny. Much appreciated. Hello, Danny. Hoax Police. Hi, Sinbad. Danny Oaksman in the house. Boom. Oh, we have Katie in the house. Good to have you, Katie. Katie, yeah, I can't apologise on Brian Hurl's behalf, but that wasn't nice. What the fuck was he doing calling you a nutcase? What a weirdo. You two got very watered down, says Lenny. A big hello, out of control. Yeah, oh yeah, I've changed my name, funny enough. How did that happen? I changed my name. Out of control. I'm crazy, man. Over to Sinbad, who says they are a Republican band, Lenny, and very well known for being IRA supporters. Well, you came in there very well known. I didn't know they were IRA supporters, so I dispute the very well known position in that. I don't think they were very well known to be IRA supporters, and in fact, it can be argued they certainly wouldn't have been mainstream if they were well known to be IRA supporters. You know what I mean? In my opinion of them, they kept their politics close to their, under wraps, and anything they did want to express was done in their music. I mean, of course, Bloody Sunday was a song not so much criticising, but just highlighting the Bloody Sunday atrocity. It wasn't particularly putting the blame on the British. It was just highlighting a very tragic and bloody incident in Irish history. But who, I don't know jack shit, quite frankly. Good to have Katie in the house. She's just popping in, everyone. She's just popping in. Katie says, I care not for his views, in all seriousness. Yeah, and I think that's how you got to see it. Because, a lot of people have got a lot of things to say about other people. And it doesn't matter. It does not matter what one person thinks of another. It's irrelevant. What matters is what you think of yourself. That's the only thing that is worthy of your attention. What other people think of you is by and by. It means nothing. It stinks. It's irrelevant. It's worthless. The only thing that counts is what you think of yourself. Over to Lenny. You two were very in favour of the Good Friday Agreement. Thankfully, the murders stopped up there. Yes. Yeah. Step to me, Danny Oaksman says, well, we've definitely got a vermin in the house. Danny Jones thinks something's funny. Say hello it's only YouTube new obsession. We've definitely got a vermin running loose. We've definitely got vermin running loose. Why are you using ostrich account person's picture, Colin? Yes, good question. I thought I recognised him. He's another guy who gets heavily trolled on YouTube. Or is it someone else? It's difficult knowing all the personalities. Sunday Bloody Sunday was a Republican song. I can't believe the news today. Oh, I can't close my eyes and make it go away. How long must we sing this song? How long? 'Cause tonight we can be as one. Tonight, broken bottles under children's feet. Bodies strewn across the dead-end street. But I won't heed the battle call. It puts my back up against the wall. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Sunday, bloody Sunday. All right, let's go. And the battle's just begun. There's many lost, but tell me who has won. The trenches dug within our hearts, and mothers, children, brothers, sisters torn apart. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Sunday, bloody Sunday. How long must we sing this song? How long? 'Cause tonight we can be as one. Tonight. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Tonight. Sunday, bloody Sunday. All right, let's go. Wipe the tears from your eyes. Wipe the tears away. I'll wipe your tears away. I'll wipe your tears away. Sunday, bloody Sunday. I'll wipe your bloodshot eyes. Sunday, bloody Sunday. 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 Yeah, let's go. And it's true, we are immune. When fact is fiction and TV reality, and today the millions cry. Sunday, bloody Sunday. We eat and drink while tomorrow they die. Sunday, bloody Sunday. The real battle's just begun. Sunday, bloody Sunday. To claim the victory Jesus won. Sunday, bloody Sunday. On Sunday, bloody Sunday, yeah. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Yeah, it could well be a Republican song to be fair. Lenny says, directed at Sinbad. Dave Evans, The Edge, right? Thank you. Family are from England, and Adam Clayton was born in Oxford. They are not IRA supporters, thanks. You like it. Sunday, bloody Sunday was a fuck up. It was terrible, you know. A very tragic day in the history of Britain and Ireland. You know, I think I think it's generally accepted that the blame for Bloody Sunday lies with the British. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Dave Evans, Edge is an Essex boy. Just because you're English, you can still have a Republican heritage, Lenny. Be real. Really? 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 Can you? Nah, surely not. I find that a bit oxymoron, really. I know we're all gullible here, well I certainly am, but really? If you're English, can you still have a Republican heritage? I don't know about that. I'll have to be more convinced about that. It just doesn't ring true. Then he says, I'm not a fan of Bono, but I admit you two came up with some decent songs. Damn right. Damn right. Will you post an emoji kiss for me if I change avatar for you? Just asking why you have it, says Katie. What's this emoji? Oh, rat, mouse. Yeah, mouse is in the house. Oh, obviously, Danny Jones is so obsessed with the vermin. It's just like, oh. Is that better, babe? Says Colin. Yeah, it is better, but it gets my back up. People using other. Hey, what? Hey, crack on. I'm not going to tell anyone to do or say about Paul. You do what you want, mate. You do what you want. Mouse done a food video. Play it, man. I don't play any mouse stuff. I don't play any mouse's stuff on my show. What are you on about? I don't play anything that Vermin does. I'm not that kind of YouTube channel, you know. Lenny, yes, it was obviously Sinn Féin wanted the Good Friday Agreement. They are the political side of the IRA. Hey, listen, everyone wanted the Good Friday Agreement. It was pushed by Tony Blair, and it was sponsored by Bill Clinton. Remember, Bill Clinton came to Ireland to facilitate that Good Friday Agreement. I think the whole world wanted the Good Friday Agreement. Anything for you, doll? Hallelujah! Emily V in the house. It's a private joke between me and me. If you knew the private joke, you'd appreciate it. Danny thinks I'm Conan Sinbad. Oh, weird. I wish we just all reveal our true identities, you know. And mind you, we could all meet up on the 25th of October, 2025 to watch Ali Sherlock in Brighton. It'll be great. And then we could all meet each other and get to know each other over a few pints and great music and great boobs, by the way. Anyway, Lenny says, what happened during the troubles to both communities was vile and everyone affected by it. Politicians at the time wouldn't or couldn't find a way to end the violence. And of course, Brighton is well aware of the IRA and the consequences of the troubles because, as we all know, the Grand Hotel got blown up. And, so we've had Brighton, as many cities around England, Birmingham, London, and elsewhere, we're well aware of the consequences of the troubles of the IRA's bid for independence. And there were dark times for all of us. And thankfully, those dark times are over. But mind you, there were some riots in Ballymorey, wasn't there, recently? But that was more to do with immigration than tensions between the British and Irish. I don't care, but I do know you are an obsessive arsehole. Well, come on, Sinbad. You know, let's be friendly. Let's not go around calling people arseholes. We had Brian Hell last night calling people nutcases, and it's not nice. It's not nice. We do try and enforce a friendly atmosphere because we do believe being friendly is better than being enemies. So over to Sinbad, who says, so are you telling me there are no English born with Irish heritage, Matt? Oh yes, no, absolutely. Yes, perhaps I got that wrong. What I was alluring to was that I think it's very rare that to have English born with Irish loyalties to the IRA. So yeah, you're right. Of course, there's English born with Irish heritage. Yes, I mean my best mates were Irish born were English born with Irish heritage. I got mixed up with English born with Irish loyalties, with IRA loyalties. That's what I picked up on, and I realise now I got it wrong, so I do apologise. Of course, there are English born with Irish heritage. I was questioning whether there was English born and IRA allegiances. So I do apologise for getting that wrong. And thank you for pointing that out. You are right on that. Emily, where is the mugger? Oh, you mention him now. You've mentioned him now. What's the story? Morning glory. I had a girlfriend out in Hong Kong called Ruth. Lovely lady. And she was Irish. She was Irish, funny enough. She was Irish. Yeah, Ruth. So Ruth got me onto Oasis. She said, you know, there's a band out there called Oasis. What's the story? Morning Glory. You should get the album. And so I said, okay, I'll go and get it. And I went and got it, and bloody hell, it rocked my world, baby. Hope says, "What U2 is one of the best bands in the world." Yeah, we're discussing it, Danny. I went to see, and please, you know, list all the people you've seen at Wembley Stadium. I went to see, what are you I'm trying to say, U2. I think it was in 1993. The Zoo TV tour, we've determined. But yeah. A general consensus is that yes, we're all U2 fans in the chat tonight. Lenny says in 1972, Bloody Sunday and Ballymurphy gave the Pirate massive support. The British Army was sent in originally to protect nationalists against loyalist violence. I mean, absolutely, Lenny. I mean, what other advert would the Pirate? I mean, remind me what the P stands for. Because I know later on we had the real IRA, didn't we? Oh, the paramilitary IRA, as opposed to the political IRA. I don't really know what I'm going on about. But yeah, I mean, talking about Bloody Sunday, if that wasn't an advert to recruit into the IRA, what was? I mean, like I said, it was absolute horrendous what the British did. And I think the British put their hands up to it as well. I've no idea. It's certainly not Darren. And actually, I don't know whether the British have put their hands up and admitted war crimes were committed during Bloody Sunday. Perhaps they did. Perhaps that was part of the procedure in the Good Friday Agreement. You know, because I know that definitely worked in South Africa apartheid, wasn't it? The reconciliation. There was something reconciliation and something, and that's how they dealt with apartheid. It was where everyone could admit what they had done and move on. Sinbad just admitted here's Danny. Good one. Got ya. We got ya. Ironically, Tony Blair is known as someone who pushed for the Iraq War, despite the WM story being utter rubbish. Yes. And in fact, Lenny, his name was mentioned today in the news. So apparently, right, what I'm hearing is Sir Keir Starmer has done an interview to mark his first year in power, right? And it's pretty embarrassing. It's a pretty embarrassing interview. I won't go into the details, but it paints him to be a right loser, quite frankly. And so what I'm hearing in the grapevine is that Sir Keir Starmer was a Tony Blair puppet. So it implies Tony Blair is still managing certain Labour players from his Tony Blair Foundation. And again, it's just speculation. But Tony Blair is like putting his hands up saying he's made a mistake by championing Sir Keir Starmer, and that Tony Blair is now considering champion somebody else. So the point I'm trying to make is apparently Tony Blair is still pulling the strings of the Labour Party hierarchy. Like I said, I'm just hearing things. Sinbad said, "You can't tell me anything about Northern Ireland, Lenny. I am from there." There you go. Yes, thank you ever so much. There you go. Might pop down, says say hi. Mike, are you talking about 25th of October, 2025? Ali Sherlock, by any chance? Because that would be pretty cool. Danny says, lies again. I don't know if you're Sinbad Colin. For fuck's sake, what a prick. Come on, Danny. We like to be friendly. Don't start throwing, your prick around. Put your dildo back into your man bag. Put your dildo back in your man bag, Danny, and keep that to yourself, please. Hoax Police, keep up. Sinbad is Danny West. There you go. We're not talking about you. Who's Sally Hairlocks? Asks Colin. Who is Sally? Who's Sally Hairlocks? Just ignore him, Danny. Oh, there we go. Emily V. Giving out some advice. Mongo, to be honest. Who's Mongo? There was something about Congo and the foreign ministers of Congo and Rwanda meeting Donald Trump. It's another thing I heard. Oh, what's going on there? So the foreign ministers of Congo and Rwanda meeting Donald Trump. Interesting. Sinbad says, we've got another 15 minutes to go, by the way, everyone. So just relieve you. This agony will come to an end. But it is good to see we got 20 viewers at some point. That's lovely. Thank you ever so much for everyone for coming in, contributing. And it's great to see all the regulars. Big shout out to Katie, Emily, Justin, Colin, Danny, Lenny. I'm sorry if I missed anybody else. So Hoax, he just keeps lying. He's a dirty old thief. Who's lying? I think, I don't know actually. Hoax, please. I always call you Lyndon. Keep up. Right. So I see what's saying. Danny Jones heard the name Danny being mentioned. He thinks, that must be me. But no. Justin is just clarifying that he will always call you Lyndon. Elaine's mate. Oh, so is that Sally Haircox? Elaine's mate. Elaine Cole. Elaine Cole's been in the chat the last couple of nights. She's not in tonight. That's cool. It's not a requirement to come in, but I do like you in. And we had a Rule Britannia. We've got a new subscriber tonight. Shout out to Rule Britannia. Thanks ever so much for Rule Britannia. She's also subbed to channels such as Jupiter, G Block, and Taffy's. So it's very good to have a member of the audience from either Jupiter, G Block, or Taffy coming over. In fact, I would like to see more. I would like to see more people coming over from Jupiter's, G Blocks, and Taffy's. I mean, to be fair, I have been mentioned on Jupiter's a few times, and no doubt I think I've been mentioned on G Blocks a few times too. He enjoys the attention, says Emily. Come back as Colin, says Katie. Nuts, isn't it? Oh, Danny's still laughing, or should I say Lyndon's still laughing? Over to Sinbad, or is it Danny West? Fuck knows. Where did I admit I was Danny Poo Tube? Are you having a fantasy moment again? Katie, embarrassing, isn't it? Sad, says Katie. You are Justin. Oh, look, this is what happens when you get vermin running around the place. Spandau Ballet wrote a song about a love story between a Catholic and a Protestant called Through the Barricades. Tony Hadley sings it. Lovely song. Thanks, Lenny. We'll check that out. Who is Justin? Laughed out loud. Do you want a straight answer? So I just want to write that down actually. So Through the Barricades. And I'll tell you, using a quote from a Bruce Springsteen song, You learn more from a 3-minute record than you ever do at school. There you go. Oh, Danny, you're a fisherman, aren't you? You're a fisherman. How do you feel about fish experiencing pain? With the fact that fish experience pain, convince you not to fish anymore? What's your opinion on that? Because I was out fishing with my son today, and we caught a carp, particularly nice carp. Oh, and the backlash I've had is quite eye-opening, really. Sinbad, you just keep your fantasies to yourself, Poochoo. Lyndon, finding it hard to keep up. I know, it's a crazy chat. It's a crazy chat. Who's Lyndon? Hoax Police is Lyndon. Come on, keep up. Lyndon Warden is the real name of Danny Jones. He's a dirty old thief who steals from vulnerable elderly people. You know, I think that was in the past. He doesn't do that anymore. Matt, you missed out on E17 at Wembley. Lenny, I never liked them. I was never a fan. I thought they were a bunch of pillocks, really. Don't let bloody Brian Harvey hear this. They're a bunch of pillocks. Oh, so thank you, Sinbad. Of course, the P in PIRA, of course, stands for provisional. Thank you, of course. No, I was never a fan of who's Connie? Connie who? We're talking about Colin, Emily. I was never a fan of E17. Their silly bobbled hats. I mean, what the fuckity fuck was that? And for me, Brian Harvey looked nasty bloke with his like gnashes and grin and. Lenny, did you go there to watch a footy match? You're talking about Wembley Stadium? Matt, this conversation started because you two are definitely not supporters of provisional IRA violence. I agree. But then again, Sinbad says he's from Ireland and he says differently, Lenny. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do about it? What do you want to do about it? I thought you were ex-military, Matt. You should know these things. I am ex-military. And I did know the provisional. I've forgotten, mate. I've forgotten. I mean, I left the army in 2003. Or was it 2001? I can't actually remember. I think it was like 2003. Long time ago, mate. We're talking over 20 years. And there's a lot of things I forget. My son was talking today about joining the Air Force. He said he's willing to die for the country. And I corrected him. I said, no, son. Don't die for your country. And this is what I thought when I was in the military. I wasn't there to die for my country. No fucking way. No fucking way would I die for my country. What I said to my son today was, I was willing to kill for my country. Now, there's a difference. I said, when I joined the army, I didn't join the army to die for my country. I joined the army to kill for my country. Because I fully expected to come out of my service alive. And I had it in my, if we went to war, I would have come out of war alive. Because that phrase, dying for your country, never entered my mind. David Cameron apologised for Bloody Sunday in 2011. Ballymurphy massacre still not acknowledged. Well, there we go. Did he apologise for porking the pork yet, Lenny? Well, none of us know whether that was true. But I did write an article about that got very well received. I was surprised I got away with that. I was surprised I got away with that because I wrote an article saying no AI included. I I asked a question whether David Cameron was a necrophile. Not good. Even I knew I was pushing the boundaries on that one. Lenny says, Colin Sinbad. That was Bloody Sunday 1920. Crime Park, Dublin. We were on about Derry 1972. Right, yeah, so, right, okay. Good point. Good point there, Lenny. Claire Charmer is a great leader. I wouldn't mind actually going over his year interview. Quite embarrassing, actually. Yeah, it's just not good. David Cameron and the pighead story. I doubt it's Sinbad. We all remember that, don't we? So apparently David Cameron had to stick his dick in the mouth of a pig's head as an initiation to be a member of a secret society. Let's just move on. Sinbad says, show it then. I never did such a thing because PooTube has a weird obsession with Danny and a liar. You got to show it there as a challenge for you. Yeah. Let's move on to Third Eye Zone. Apparently, they're saying something is about to come out about Starmer. Yeah. But mind you, apparently things are about to come out about lots of things. You know what I mean? I mean, the last absurdity I heard was that the bombs hitting the mountain in Iran was to kill aliens. I mean, fucking hell. We hear some shit out there. That's for sure. Lenny's from Ireland, says Emily V. I always laugh when I say Emily V. It's a private joke between me and me. If you understood the private joke, you'd find it funny too. It's actually hilarious. But, you know, let's just keep it. Listen, everyone, we're coming up to the last 5 minutes. Hope everyone's had a good time. Oh, I didn't catch that. Well, that's Katie. Imagine using Mongo when you have a severely autistic child. I know, not good at all. Is that something Lyndon did, was it? Oh man, you were being slated by Den Tarragon in conversation with Jupiter, Danny. Are you gonna let Den say that about you without responding? To be fair, I think kind of like Den Tarragon like smacked your ass tonight, metaphorically speaking. Lenny said, I never said I was some history expert on Ireland, son. I was talking about you too. You brought up the Provost, son, the provisional IRA. You said Lenny is from Ireland, Emily. Laugh out loud. Yes, I did, said Emily. Katie said that DW account is EC, mate. Right. Eric Crapbitch, no doubt, by the EC and DW Danny West. Brian is right about you, A1000. You're a nut. And now stop it, Sinbad. Not that I need to, Katie can defend herself, but I think you're a nuthead, Sinbad, and I think maybe you could be Danny West, to be fair. Matt, has Sam Fox been on Who Do You Think You Are? I don't know. Do you reckon yes? Do you reckon she has? I think it might be that his wife is living separately away from Starmer, yeah. Because there's a lot of, gay allegations, isn't there, with that Ali someone, that millionaire bloke who gave them an allowance for clothes. Oh, we've got Rule Britannia. Rule Britannia, what have you made? What have you made of tonight's craziness? This is pretty much what Matt Taylor is all about. Just complete and utter mayhem. You know what I mean? Look, I don't blame you if you unsubscribe, okay? I don't blame you. Come on then, let's wrap it up, everyone. Crikey, I've wasted enough of your time already. And anyway, I want to wrap it up before Rule Britannia just changes her mind, or his mind, and unsubscribes. Matt, after all these years, do you know what a ninja recorder is? Yeah, of course I do. It's a tape recorder that gives you a whack over the neck if you're not listening to the right music. How many people do you fantasize about PooTube? Look, Sinbad. you're not really adhering to the spirit of Matt Taylor TV. I only ask you to be friendly, and you're not being very particularly friendly. Matt is ripping your content live and uploading it while you're on. Matt is. Am I? Okay. Oh, we have Darren Earl. Weird. Thankfully, as Darren Hurl has come on, we can get off. Third Eye Zone, I hear you are Bab Cauliflower. I can assure you. Babs is no longer on YouTube. Evening all. Come on, let's wrap it up, everyone. Let's wrap it up. I'm sure we've all got better things to do. And wasn't Lenny going live Going live next? Who's going live next? Hey? Do you know we haven't had a live from Harry and Emily? Michael Fish gets mentioned for some time around 1985. He failed to mention some wind hurricane that happened. Fish was a reliable weatherman. Oh, his credibility was shot to pieces after that, wasn't he? Yes. Names from the past there. Might be in the past, but if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen, as they say. Yes, indeed. Oh, God, look, we still got loads of comments. Let's just go through the comments. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yes. Yes, Darren. Yes, Harry. I know, that was poor. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Is she? No, just because someone says something doesn't mean make it true. Oh, God, we've still got loads to go. I was in the RAF for 3 years. Wow. Yeah, my son's thinking of joining the RAF. He said he's willing to die for the country. I put him straight on that. I said, fucking shut it. What are you on about, die for the country? So I put him straight on that. I said, don't you fucking dare die for anyone. Don't you dare die for anyone. You know, there's an argument to be made that you can kill for someone, because I'll certainly kill. Well, I joined the army with the intention to kill for my country. And but mind you, would I kill for anyone else? Most probably not. Matt, what do you think the percentage of soldiers who have post-traumatic stress and struggle mentally is high? I think it's 80%. I'll put it as high as 80, if not 90%. That, you know, one of the first things they do in the army is to teach us, to get us to do our war cry. And in a war cry is that they put up these dummies, okay, on crosses, and we have our rifles with our bayonets on it. And what they teach us to do is to get our war cry on and run along and stab these dummies with our bayonets 3 times in the chest. Then scream like maniacs, run to the next dummy, stab it 3 times in the chest. All the while screaming like fucking crazy banshees. You know, yelling our war cry at the top of our lungs. What it's essentially doing is it's turning you, it's making you inhuman. It's putting you in a state of mind, a rage state of mind. And that, I think they recognise, the army recognises that the only time they can get their soldiers to kill is when they're in a rage state of mind. And that's why they encourage us to bring out our war cries, our rage. Because they know that killing doesn't come naturally. Killing another human being is an abhorrent thing for your average man or woman to do. There you go. Okay, I think, lovely chat. Thanks ever so much, everyone. Oh, okay, so EC, you mean Elaine Cole. Okay, and I got that mixed up with Eric Scrap Bits, didn't I? Of course. So thanks for clarifying that. No, I said Eric. But anyway, this is what happens when vermin run around with sock puppet accounts, sowing discord and mayhem everywhere. And of course, we all know that this particular individual, vermin, likes to play us all off each other. Lenny says, I think life can go really bad for some of these ex-soldiers. Substance misuse and trauma. The percentage is high. Yeah. Because it's not normal to kill each other. War is not normal. War takes people out of their comfort zone. It's, it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious. Yeah, we do live in a sad state of affairs. And I'm not convinced that spending more on war than the welfare of one country's people is a sensible path to walk down. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's wrap it up. Let's get through these. Oh, Danny is my middle name. Funny enough, so is mine. Oh my God, I share something in common with the weasel. How embarrassing. My son wants to be an aviator. And one thing I never do to my son is crush his dreams. Okay, I just don't do it. I made a decision a long time ago. If whatever my kids said, I'd support 100%. And so, if my son comes out that he wants to be an aviator, it's like, yeah, you go for it, son. You go for it, mate. You can be whatever you want to be. If you really want something, you can do it. And I'm a great believer in that. So imagine the 3.5 million children of the soldiers of World War II. I know. So, if Lewis thinks he can be an aviator, off you go, son. Make it happen. The 3 million that were evacuated under Operation Pied Piper. Strange name, I know, wasn't it? I used to station the police station in Hamel in Germany, where that Pied Piper originated. So that's an interesting thing. Hamel in Germany, the town in which Pied Piper was set. I used to, we had a Royal Military Police station down there, and I used to work at that. But Matt's put up comments up. Have we? The army break people down and rebuild them into killing machines. Yes, that's true. That is true. Right, come on, let's get it sewn up. Oh my God, how many messages have we got? I think you should start calling me Paddy. Dehumanizing other human beings. Who would be normal after that? I know. We live in a horrible world. What was that? Unable to speak to national security. Wow. Yes, war has been, but the motivations for war have changed, hasn't it? The motivations. I mean, back in King Arthur times, you'd fight to protect your villagers and your countrymen from invading hordes of Saxons. But today's fights, we fight to protect the interests of the elite. So, you know, the reasons to fight have changed. War has been around, of course, I appreciate that, since the beginning of time. But the reasons for war have changed. It's human nature to protect what's ours. It's human nature to punch someone who's punched you. There's human nature to pick up a rock and throw it at someone who's just picked up a rock and thrown it at you. That's what's human nature. It's human nature to fight and protect your loved ones, to protect your property, to protect your land. That's human nature. Just my opinion. There's good and evil, and I think you're an evil cunt. Have you seen a military museum in El Alamein, Egypt? No, I haven't. Have you? Interesting. Desert rats. Many roles in the RAF. It's hard work to become a pilot and very low pass rate. If you want a good career, get a trade. There you go. I know. I did mention that to Lewis. Were you a red cap? I was a snowdrop. Oh right, love it, love it. I was originally going to apply to be an RAF policeman, but what? I passed the test to be an RMP, so I went there instead. Emily's off to sleep. Good night, Emily. Sweet dreams. Katie's unable to speak due to national security. Yes. Secret army. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Oh my God, Emily, you need to get a new mattress. If the bed bugs are biting. Come on, look, we're nearly there, everyone. We're nearly there. Yes. Let's say goodnight. Thank you, everyone. We'll play out with a promotional video because I know how much we love a promotional video. And there's only one song I think is deserving of this. Until the next time, everyone, sweet dreams. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
God is good and so am I. God is good and so am I. I don't know I'm doing wrong, 'cause I haven't done anything wrong. Unlike certain people who know they have wrong and gaslight projected on to others. I don't know I'm doing wrong, 'cause I haven't done anything wrong. Unlike certain gaslight projected on to others.